Welcome to the Mind Games podcast. Today, we have one of the greatest winners in Australian sport. We go on a great journey of persistence, determination, and excellence. This is an episode I'm very proud of. Dan Christian, enjoy.
It's the biggest hit I've ever seen at Gabba. So is it on the roof? It's on the roof. Look at D. Sammy, he's doing the fist pump.
Alrighty, Dan Christian, mate, welcome to the Mind Games podcast. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Mate, very grateful that you sort of jumped aboard with this. And we met probably a couple of months ago with a friend of the show, Jones Comerford, actually, and Justin Horro, and we had a bit of a hit of golf. And I'm super excited for this one. I was just sort of mentioning to you, like doing the prep for this as an ex-cricketer or ex-wannabe cricketer myself, it was definitely enjoyable going through your journey. And I was sort of saying to my partner earlier, like even looking at people who you sort of looked up to your whole life and that you had no idea who I was is a really cool sort of process and exercise to go through. So I'm keen to hear your story and I'm keen to hear a few little yarns that you sort of got along the way.
Hopefully I can live up to them.
Yeah, mate,
live up to any what you thought of me.
Yeah, well, we're going to start with an unfortunate piece, and you're actually good mates with Mick Elliott. So we'll get into his career, but you've been doing some stuff with Power Golf, which is the hoodie you're wearing as well.
Yeah.
Power Golf Australia. That 9 holes deep, he gave me a bit of a touch up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Mick's a good mate. Mick and I played cricket together at University of New South Wales for nearly 10 years or so. Once I came down from the country and then before I moved over to South Australia. Really good mate of mine, stayed in contact, and yeah, he's been the boss at Power Golf now for a while. He owns Power Golf, and yeah, they've been looking after me for a couple of years. So it's a good relationship. They're fantastic. They've got a fantastic business, and yeah, he's doing a really good job.
Absolutely, yeah, they're good men. We had Rick, his business partner, on here actually about a month or so ago as well. And yeah, I've known Mick for a long time also. So obviously he owns Athlete's Foot stores as well. So my parents own an Athlete's Foot store. So I've sort of grew up in that industry. So Mick kind of followed my career a little bit, and I've known him since I was a kid. So
yeah, there you go.
I think I've even saved in my phone as Uncle Mick, and I used to introduce nights out and stuff. I'd be like, "This is Uncle Mick," and he'd be like, "That's my nephew." Not really, but it's good fun, mate. So you from the country, grew up in Riverina or in that sort of area.
Yep.
Talk us through sort of growing up and your junior cricket career.
So I grew up in Narandra.
Yep.
About an hour from Wagga. And cricket for me was just what you did in the summer. Played rugby league in the winter, played cricket in the summer.
How'd you go at footy?
I loved it. I was all right at it. I was probably better at it than I was at cricket.
Yeah, okay.
And I liked it more.
What position you played?
5'8".
Nice.
Absolutely loved it. So it was footy in the winter and touch footy in the park most afternoons after school, and then cricket in the backyard. And then cricket down the park as well in the summertime. And being in Narandra, I never got the New South Wales Cricket Scouts never came out there, so I never got picked for any Riverina teams or anything like that.
It would have been pretty close to Victoria too, wouldn't it?
We're a few hours north of Victoria.
Yeah, but I mean for the state stuff, do you kind of pick where you go, or is it definitely New South Wales?
No, it's definitely New South Wales around there. It's probably only really the Albury guys that end up going to Victoria, I think. But yeah, being pretty close to Wagga, where Jeff Lawson, Mark Taylor, Michael Slater are all from, they were all guys that I looked up to around that time.
Yeah,
that early '90s, that guys that from the area that I guess I wanted to be like. So from a personal point of view, it ended up working out really well for me. Mum and Dad separated when I was 12, 13, and moved to Sydney with Mum, and that was where everything really kicked. So
yeah, right.
Didn't play any rep cricket or rep footy or anything like that before that. Moved to Sydney with Mum, went to St Gregory's College out at Campbelltown, got right into my rugby league. And again, cricket was just the summer sport, whereas I was keen as mustard to play footy. Absolutely love footy. Just sort of once I got to Sydney, then got into your underage program stuff and got picked for Campbelltown, Camden junior rep teams, and then played Sydney Metro stuff, and then got in the New South Wales 17s team, and that's where cricket sort of went from there.
Yeah, nice. And so you're at Campbelltown at this stage? Yeah. So you're playing Green Shield and all that sort of stuff as well? Or?
No. So that's where my introduction to University of New South Wales came from. So Broke my leg playing footy
Yeah.
in the winter and missed I couldn't try out for Campbelltown's Green Shield team, and they said I was going to be all right by the time the season started, but they said, sorry, we'll
Yeah, right.
yeah, you've missed out. So, and University of New South Wales were just starting their Green Shield program, and they got in contact and just said, heard you missed out. I don't know how they got Mum's number, but yeah, heard you missed out.
Were you in like the emerging blues and all that sort of stuff? Because that would have been floating around.
Maybe that was. I was trying to play Green Shield 1 year up, so I was only 14.
Okay.
Playing, so I was essentially under 15s.
Because I was going to say, if you're playing in the junior state stuff and they're not picking you in a Green Shield team, that's a bit stiff.
And ended up going to university. I went to uni training. Turned up on a Tuesday night. Jeff Lawson came and met me. The first time I'd ever met him. So I was 14 years old. I was just out of a cast.
Yeah.
So I couldn't run. Was limping.
Yeah.
reasonably badly, but could sort of stand up and whatever. And he just said, "All right, put your pads on." So I had a bat. I couldn't really move that well, but had a bat. And then he got me in the net and he gave me the ball and he said, "I know you can't run in. I just want you to bowl 6 balls outside off stump. I don't care how fast they are. I don't care how wide they are. Just want them to be outside off stump." So I did it. And he said, "Right, you're in."
Perfect.
And then, and 3 months later, I was ready to go when the season started. So it was,
so did you stay at uni for your whole time after that?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right.
So never played for another club in Sydney, even though I ended up playing at a lot of different cricket teams.
So do you, far out, I bet you, I know you're not going to name him, but I bet you remember who the coach was for Campbelltown that stitched you up there. Because you still have some good mates out at Campbelltown, right? Or you did at the time?
Yeah, I did at the time, definitely.
Yeah.
Grew up around that stage with Jared Burke and Brett Erickson. They were two really good mates, and both
Berkey
ended up
captained
playing.
me at Bankstown.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And ended up becoming one of the best grade cricketers in history. Stats are unbelievable
in all 3 aspects.
Then saw in the final of 5th grade. He got 150 in the final of 5th grade this year.
Is he playing still?
Playing with his son.
Young bloke, there you go.
Playing with his son. So he just went back to play with
Mason?
his Mason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
went back to play with his son, and he got 150 in the final, bullying 17-year-olds. Probably younger than that. 14, 15-year-olds.
Did he take 5 as well?
No, I think he only got 2 or 3 for about 5 off about 5 overs. He's a freak.
Yeah.
Grew up. That was Jared became one of my good mates when I first moved to Sydney, and then Brett Erickson as well, who ended up playing 17s, 19s for New South Wales and quite a bit of first grade, and he finished up in his early 20s. So, but those guys were around that time. They were the guns of the area for sure, and playing really well. So
was there many, like, is there like, apart from Jeff Lawson there, was there like an early influence you think on your career, a coach or a mentor or something that sort of helped you through?
Oh, Warren Smith was reasonably instrumental around that time as well. I didn't reconnect with him for a few years until a few years after that. But he used to run cricket camps in Wagga, and I went to those when I was about 11.
Yeah,
when I was still living in Narrandera. And whereas I didn't end up getting picked in any rep teams or anything, but just the coaching and the processes that he was giving me at that stage, he was instrumental in Michael Slater's career, and a brilliant batting coach. Ended up working a lot with the New South Wales squad and stuff. So he ended up coming and coaching the University of New South Wales later on. So I reconnected with him there and still talk to him all the time. But yeah, some of the stuff that I did with him back then, that was great for my cricket. So
was this more like process, or was it more like routine? Was it technique? What sort of stuff?
Probably technique at that stage.
Okay.
Didn't know much about process. I was only a kid. That kind of stuff hadn't really become fashionable yet.
Yeah.
So more just some of the batting drills that he used to give us, footwork drills, and what he used to talk about being really important, and just real basics of the game that to be fair, have probably gone out a little bit.
For sure. Because the reason I asked that is I actually did a couple of sessions, because he did some stuff at Northern District a long time ago, probably 15 years ago when I was there. And I did a couple of sessions with him then, and I was just sort of trying to think back of the stuff he was sort of talking us through, but it probably was more technique.
Yeah, technique, and he was big on footwork and having really fast feet, and which was obviously a staple of someone like Michael Slater's game. You could see where he got that from.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really good coach. Really, really great knowledge of the basics of batting, and yeah, learn a lot from him.
Yeah, nice. So going through making the New South Wales 17s, how'd you go at the state carnival or the national carnival? Sorry. Are you more of a batter at this stage?
At this stage, I'm opening the bowling and batting 7 or 8.
Okay.
Can't remember how we went. I think we lost the final. We might have lost the final to Victoria.
Yeah, okay. And you had a pretty, like, was Aaron Bird and stuff in his team?
Yep.
Aaron Bird, Jared Burke, what other?
Yeah, Brett
players?
Erickson, Jared Burke, Steve Karam, who ended up being a really good player at that. So, like, he scored 300 or something when we were about 17.
Yeah, right.
Played a little bit of first grade, but sort of went off the, sort of fell away a bit. I can't remember who else was in that. I don't think anyone else was really in that team that went that much further. Aaron Bird was a year younger than me, so I don't think he played that 17s year.
Okay.
But he definitely played the 19s a couple of years later. Cameron White was captain of that Victorian team.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Because I remember, you made the Australian team, right? The 19s?
The 19s, the next one, yeah.
Because that team's still talked about as like one of the best Australian 19s teams ever, right?
It was pretty good.
Yeah. And he's played against New Zealand in the final? Or it might have been the semi.
No, we played. Man, you're really testing my memory here. Sorry. We played South Africa in the final and we beat West Indies in the semi.
Okay. Was there a game, because Berkey told this story where he opened the batting against Shane Bond?
Yeah, that was leading into that.
Okay.
That was leading into that. We went over there and played against, leading into the World Cup, we went over and we were technically the Cricket Academy, but we were the under-19s.
Yeah.
What was about to be the Australian 19s team. And we played against the New Zealand Academy, and they had Shane Bond, the McCullum brothers, Chris Cairns played a game.
Yeah.
Hamish Marshall, the guy with the remember the big hair, the twins.
Was Daryl Tuffy in the team? No.
I don't think so. Kyle Mills ended up playing for New Zealand. Yeah, they had a really good team. And yeah, there was this one game that Shane Bond played, and it was dark, and he was bowling like the wind. And I was batting down the order, thankfully, so I didn't have to face it. But yeah, I remember him bowling pretty quick at Jared.
Yeah, and I think Jason Craig was opening the batting with him, right?
Yeah.
I've heard this story a few times from both Aaron Bird and from Jared. So I've heard the story a few times, and
you probably know it better than me.
Yeah, well, Berkey tells it that Jared he ran at Shane Bond first ball, and I think he sniffed him, he top edged him for 6, and because he was telling everyone he was gonna run at him, and I think Jared was a pretty good player growing up. So
yeah, he was.
He's pretty confident in his ability.
Yeah, still is.
Yeah. So you go from there. So Australian 19s.
Yep.
You're obviously playing first grade and stuff at the time for uni.
Yep.
How did you sort of break into the New South Wales stuff?
I was a rookie. I got first rookie contract when I was 20, 21.
Do you remember the phone call?
No, I don't. I can't remember who it was from.
Do you remember was there like a bit of a cool moment, like, oh wow, like I can make or you're already thinking I can make a living out of this?
No, not at all. Not at all.
What are you doing for work? Because I know cricket's not a...
No, cricket's...
At that point, it's definitely not
the rookie contract certainly wasn't paying the bills at that stage. I was just working in the city for the government, doing a administration type role, contract manager type role for Department of Employment and Workplace Relations. And the great thing about them was they were really flexible with my cricket. So anytime I had to go away for any Colts trips or 19s trips or whatever it might have been, they'd let me go. Leave early for training, that kind of thing.
How good's that?
Yeah, they were fantastic. So, got the rookie contract and worked around training, and probably had my worst season of my whole career.
Do you know how many times I've heard this? And I can give an example as well. And so when I was at Bankstown, I've told this story already when Jay had Jay Lenton on, so I'll tell it quickly. But Daniel Solway, the year before, the first year I was at Bankstown, he scored nearly 2,000 runs. Not that many, but he scored like 1,600 runs that season the year before. The next year, he got his rookie contract. He came back. The year before, he had 5 shots. The year after, he had every shot, and you were like, "Wow, he's improved out of sight." Scored nowhere. He still scored a lot of runs, but scored nowhere near the amount of runs that next year. So Jay Lenton told the same story. He was like, "I went in there. I learnt that I needed to be professional. I learned I needed to be fit. I learned I needed to all these different things that I didn't realize when I was just a normal first grader." And then that next season was the worst season I had in Sydney, which is crazy that. It must be just a mental block where your skills improve out of sight and you probably put more pressure on yourself, or what do you, from your point of view?
No doubt, put more pressure on yourself. You put more pressure on yourself and you have higher expectations on yourself. And you probably go away a little bit from, even though you think you've started to develop this routine, this right way of doing things, you probably go away from it. And I know I certainly did, in terms of probably the expectations and then you just get a bit big for your boots.
Okay.
You get a bit big for your boots.
Is it a little bit maybe you're playing a different role as well? So like what the example I can give is, like, I'm trying to relate it to my own career. I pretty much batted 3 my whole life. Then when I got to first grade, I'm batting like 5 and 6, and Wellesley and Solway never got out.
Yeah.
So I was basically a fielder.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to, and then when I got my opportunities, I probably didn't do as well because I was kind of just like, probably wasn't actually working as hard because I was like, when I was playing second grade, I was batting 3 and, I had a bigger role in the team where if I didn't score runs, we probably didn't win. And then when I'm playing first grade, I'm just like a role player. So it didn't really matter. Is there like the opposite of that? Like you potentially, you might have been batting 5 and open the bowling, then now you're batting 3 and you've got to sort of take on that more leadership role, or not really?
No, not so much for me. I batted 3. I think I batted 3 in white ball stuff, but I was always 4 or 5 in red ball for uni. The other thing that happened to me around that stage was just after the 19s carnival, the next season, I played a few games of rugby union for the university.
Yeah, okay.
Which I enjoyed. I'd never played rugby union in my life, but enjoyed it because I was still getting my footy, scratching my footy itch.
Who do you go for in the NRL?
That's a good question, isn't it? If Dad listens to this, I'll say St. George. If Dad's not listening, I'll probably say the Bunnies.
Okay, sweet.
Dad was a mad St. George supporter. I didn't have much choice growing up.
Nice.
Watched them all through when they won their 11 straight. And He grew up in that era. So
okay. He'd be doing it tough at the moment.
Yes.
Out.
Tough little period. He keeps ringing me and telling me how they're going. I said, Dad, I haven't watched any of their games. I refuse to watch them.
I love it. Anyway, you played a couple of games of rugby.
Played a couple of games for rugby union for the university and broke my leg again.
Oh no, same one?
Other one.
Okay.
Basically did the same thing though, but down near the ankle. And so my bowling really struggled for nearly 2 years. But batting went up. So I went from sort of batting 7 to now being in top order, and that really kicked. Bowling eventually came back, bowled a bit of leg spin in the meantime while I was trying to get through that, and while I was trying to get...
Wait, so you had a rookie contract and you weren't bowling?
No, I got picked as a batter.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, as a batter, and half that season I was bowling leggies half that year. Yeah.
Crazy. Can you talk me through like being involved in the state system? You're going to training and stuff, and you're looking around, and like at the time, I don't know how much they would have been there, but like there would have been some pretty, like the Wars would have been roughly around the end of their career, but like some guys who I'm just trying to think what other names would be, but like some far out. Name some of the big name players that would have been there.
I'm pretty sure the War Brothers were still in there.
It would have been Haddon and
McGrath,
stuff, right?
Hads was there.
Yeah.
Stewie Clark, Simon Kadich, Michael Clark, Michael Bevan.
But looking around, are you going like, these guys are kind of my heroes, although I play against them, like what?
Yeah. I can't remember if they were still in the squad when I was rookie contract, but definitely in the years before that when I was coming in, net bowling and whatever, they were there. They were always there. And pretty cool to watch them go about their work. And yeah, as you say, like they were heroes of mine growing up. Early 90s, mid 90s. Yeah. So yeah, to be at training with them was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Is it like imposter syndrome, or are you like, I want to get to that level, or what type of mindset did you have in that regard?
No, not really imposter syndrome. I've always been reasonably confident in my ability, if not overconfident sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably something that's helped me throughout my career. That's helped me.
Well,
just feel comfortable and feel like I can perform when I get out there and not be overawed by any situation. I tend to be reasonably okay at that.
Do you think, is that something you learn, or is that something you've sort of, for whatever reason, naturally had? Because you seem like someone who, like as an outside looking in, we've only met each other a couple of times, that every level you went to, you kind of stepped up, if that makes any sense. Yeah,
I didn't go anywhere near as well as I would have liked when I got my opportunities for Australia. But yeah, I'd like to think that's how I played a lot of my cricket. Each chance I got, I tried to take it. Dad always drummed into me that I was good enough to do whatever I wanted. And really competitive family. Dad played lower grades for Newtown Jets. My Uncle Barry played first grade for Newtown Jets.
Nice.
Uncle Trevor was Australian champion boxer.
Yeah, right.
Uncle Greg played some lower grade cricket for St. George. So really, really strong sporting family, really, really competitive family. So even though I'm an only child, grew up with 30-odd cousins, we were always playing something in the backyard. Or Dad's one of 11, so lots of cousins. Always playing something in the backyard or down the park or whatever. So, and it was always always extremely competitive. So, there was never any. And being I was a decent player in the country, obviously. So you always played. Like I played my first adult game of cricket when I was 11.
Yeah.
So you're always.
You sort of.
I was always kind of in the deep end.
Yeah.
Where you just sink or swim.
Yeah, I love that. Do you, like, obviously when you're doing that, do you think you kind of have to grow up a little bit quicker too? Because you're in a change room where how I'd describe it is like you're 11 and you're probably playing, third grade or something, and you're seeing like guys who are like in their 30s and you're seeing them as the cool guys, and someone might have got 50, so like, and they're drinking and smoking and swearing and all this sort of stuff in the change rooms. You're kind of picking up bad habits as opposed to picking up good habits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think like that kind of forced you to grow up pretty quick, or would you advise kids to do that now?
Oh yeah, still that environment, definitely. Yeah. You grow up pretty quickly and you learn pretty quickly. I was a really grounded kid. I was a really good kid.
Yeah.
Parents weren't strict, but I knew what was right and what was wrong, and knew that it certainly wasn't right to be having a beer and a cigarette in the change rooms at 11. So, so that was But in terms of my sporting growth and probably growth as a person too, being put in that situation was massive for that. I don't think kids probably get exposed to that as much as what they used to. I feel like a lot of lower grade cricket nowadays, you're playing with guys that are your same age and that you've come through the same levels with.
Yeah.
I made my fourth grade debut with for University of New South Wales with Jim Robson, who'd played a million first grade games for the club and was working his way back down the grades.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was really, really cool. And I feel like that kind of thing doesn't happen much anymore.
Yeah. No, true. It's interesting because I was a similar on the Central Coast where I grew up. I was playing like third grade probably second grade when I was like 13. And I think back to it now and I'm kind of like, I, in a way, was looking up to these guys who were, turning up on a bender and stuff like that. And in a way, I was thinking that was cool when it's not. Like, I probably looked at it the wrong way. You probably need to understand that, you still need to, if you want to get to that level, you kind of need to put in those other processes. But it's interesting to sort of look back on. You with New South Wales for that 06, 07, and you're playing a bit of white ball stuff for New South Wales, then you're on a night out and you get a phone. There was a washout on the Saturday. Hey, can you tell the story? Because I'm gonna butcher it. I've sort of looked it up, but I haven't really got there.
So, 05-06 was the first year of 2020 in Australia, and I played for got picked for New South Wales in a really young team.
Did Joey Johns play that game?
No, he played the next year.
Okay. Did you play that game?
Yeah, I played that season with him. Which is really cool. So I played that whole season of 2020, and then that was the year I was on my rookie contract. I think it was anyway, might have been the year after. But then the next year they had this, they called it like a state challenge, and they picked north, south, east, west teams in Sydney to play a series of one-dayers, pre-season one-dayers. Then I scored 200s in the first 3 games, did really well. Wasn't on contract and got picked straight from there for the first game for the Blues for the one-dayers. So played that whole season, ended up playing that whole season. Did okay, didn't do as well as I would have liked, did okay. My first year though. And yeah, got added to the squad and played, like I said, all the white ball stuff and yeah, I was back playing club cricket and I was doing okay at club cricket.
You were captain at uni at this stage, right?
I think so for that
It
year.
said it on the article.
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah, I don't know if it was that year or the year after that I ended up being captain. And I think I finished second highest run scorer behind Brad Haddon in the one-dayers. And then end of season came and they said, you're not going to get a contract next year. So that was a bit of a kick in the teeth. That was really disappointing. I thought that I did enough to warrant at least getting a contract.
Is there any decent feedback? Like, this is why? Is what we're going to work on? Or is it just see you later?
No. The communication at that stage was actually pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
I didn't even I didn't even get told. I had to ring up and find out like if I still had one.
What?
Yeah, because I wasn't on what the original contract list. I got an upgraded contract.
Okay.
So I just obviously slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
But anyway. So it was the next season. It was 07-08 that we started at uni. Started the season again at uni and was doing okay. And I was captain that year. And so I wasn't playing for New South Wales.
Not even white ball?
No, nothing at this stage.
Wow.
Nothing at this stage.
Yeah, right.
Hadn't been picked for anything. Yeah, the email came around on a Friday afternoon to say that grade cricket had been washed out on the Saturday. So we sent an email straight out to the rest of the club going, all right, impromptu pub crawl in the rocks.
Yeah.
So we're upstairs at the Australian. Don't know what time it was, maybe 7 o'clock at this stage. And we probably got together about 5. So, you know, we had a couple phone rings, put it in my pocket, looked at it, didn't recognise the number, put it back in my pocket. Went through to voicemail, checked it. Daniel, Rodney Marsh, South Australian Cricket Association, call me back. I was like, shit. So rang him back, went outside and rang him back, and I'd known Rod for a while. He was didn't coach my 19s, but was down there around academy time, and so yeah, I knew him reasonably well. Called him back, said, hello mate, how's your form? I said, oh, it's okay. I've been playing all right. 100 last week, and we're doing all right at uni. We're middle of the table. Right. You've been picked to play for South Australia on Wednesday against Western Australia at the Adelaide Oval. You'll be added to the squad and you'll play every white ball game. You'll get picked in every white ball game and you'll be added to the squad and eligible for Sheffield Shield selection. What do you reckon? And I'm like, well, it sounds pretty good. But yeah, let me have a talk to my parents and mates and whatever, and I'll get back to you. And yeah, went back into the pub and told the boys what had happened. They were like, "What are you doing? Like, go home and pack your bags."
How good's that?
And yeah, literally jumped in the car the next day. Packed up, jumped in the car and drove to Adelaide. Moved to Adelaide.
Yeah, right. And what they sorted out accommodation or whatever.
Yeah,
and you just figured it out.
Put me up. I was because I was playing at Uni New South Wales. I just went to Adelaide Uni Cricket Club, and the coach there at the time put me up for a couple of days while I sorted accommodation, and then that was it. Away we went.
Happy days.
Yeah, and played that first game on the Wednesday against Western Australia. They got 300 and plenty. I got a wicket, and then I was batting 5 in the chase, and I didn't get a bat because Darren Lehman got 130 odd, Matthew Elliott got 130 odd, and we won the game pretty easily.
How good's that?
So
Who
that
was it
my
against?
first game. That was against Western Australia.
Let's try it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then next game got 98, 97 or something like that. Not out against Queensland.
And you're away.
Played really well, and I was away. So yeah, pretty crazy story. And from playing club cricket, starting the season in club cricket to just being snatched out of club cricket and playing the next game
Absolutely.
of state cricket.
It's unreal though. Like, it obviously shows you'd impressed at that sort of level previously. They're obviously keeping an eye on New South Wales. Always, from my point of view, has probably been one of the stronger breeding grounds, I guess.
No doubt.
And you can see that across,
no doubt.
Yeah, across the whole, I guess, state stuff.
Yep.
That there's 3 or 4 New South Wales players in each team. But it's also a credit to like the years of hard work you'd kind of put in and stuff to those building blocks to get there. Is there like a bit of a, when you sort of started to establish yourself, you had that contract, you got that 90 odd and started playing a bit of shield cricket, was there, talk me through your mindset here. So like, is it very much, all right, sweet, I'm going to enjoy myself and kind of, I don't know if this is what I've always dreamed of doing, or is it I want to play for Australia and I'm putting more pressure on yourself? You know what I was talking about with grade cricket, how you kind of put that more pressure on yourself and didn't play as well?
Yep.
Did you kind of learn from that, or was it something?
A little bit. There was, I obviously always wanted to play for Australia. That's just, I guess, what every kid does when they're playing in the backyard when they're 10. And I knew that was going to be one step closer to it. But I also wanted to repay Rod's faith in me and try and do really well for South Australia and help us win games and try and not nail down. I didn't have to nail down the spot because he gave me the spot. So it was more repay the faith and justify being there and prove to proving to my teammates as well, because it came out of the blue to them. They didn't even know. They had no idea that Rod had gone ahead and done this. The coach didn't even know at this stage, Mark Sorrell, which I found out a little bit later on, which is pretty funny. Rod just said, "No, you've been picked," and no one knew about it. Rod had just made the decision. So I owed him a lot at that stage, and still do really for the opportunity that he gave me. So at that stage it was more about just
repaying that,
repaying that.
Nice. I suppose around that sort of period too, it's very much like 2020 cricket was starting to establish itself, and from my point of view, from like looking from the outside, kind of looked like you were one of the first players to really, I suppose you had that existing skill set, but you were one of the first players that kind of specialised a little bit in that and kind of took that to the next level in terms of all 3 formats of the game, batting, bowling and fielding, where you were a specialist at all 3. So was that intentional, or was it just you had that skill set?
No, that was just skill set. That was just personality, probably, of just wanting to be involved in everything and wanting to be the best at everything. Like everything that I tried, always wanted to be really good at. Whether it was batting, bowling or fielding, always sort of push myself to be as good as I possibly could be.
Is that what caused the demolition job you did to the South Australian dressing sheds?
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah, that's probably what it was. That was, same kind of thing though. Just like that. I mean, you can't really justify it, but that sort of passion of wanting to do really well, and when things don't go your way, it just probably didn't handle it as well as I could have.
Did you get a bit of a slap on the wrist for that? Or
I did. Yeah, I did. That was the reason I ended up leaving South Australia in the end.
Is it really?
Yeah. They I got suspended for 1 game and ended up not playing another game for the season.
Fuck.
Even though I was back in grade cricket and dominating that.
Because there's a funny tweet that floats around with that I saw. That I found.
Like when they demolished the ground.
Yeah. What did it say?
To rebuild the ground. I said that I'd done a good bit of bit of work on the ground.
That's pretty funny. That's so good.
That's why I ended up going to Victoria in the end. The fact that I didn't get back in the team after that suspension. Andrew McDonald at the same time, funnily enough, was having some issues in Victoria, and we were playing IPL together for Bangalore.
Yeah.
And over a beer one night, we were like, he was talking about his situation, I was talking about mine, and we were like, why don't we just swap?
Yeah, nice.
And that's the way it worked out.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we're starting to touch on it a little bit, and I will get to, because you've obviously played for a number of franchises, over 20, but in terms of changing states and changing teams, and I guess with the IPL and the 2020 stuff, you kind of fly in and you get to work kind of thing. How did you find I guess, adapting to different teams, adapting to different roles, like all this sort of stuff that you kind of need to learn. Because as I sort of said, from my point of view, when I was playing, I kind of had one role my whole life growing up. I was a top order batter, and that was kind of it. And I was reasonably good at that role for what I was. But then when I had to do different roles, I kind of just struggled with it mentally a little bit. Kind of became too hard for me, and that was it. Yep. So how did you find that adapting to different roles and different teams, or you just were a freak and had that skill set to be able to do it?
I didn't have, my role didn't vary much at all.
Okay. It did though. Like game times you open the bowling, sometimes you bowl on the death, sometimes you open the batting, sometimes you bat an 8. Like,
well, if you looked at from a bowling perspective, that's bowling to me. That's just you just bowl wherever you need to, and you bowl whatever ball you need to at the time when you stand at the top of your mark. If it's a brand new ball, you hit the top of the stumps. When it's old, you bowl some slower balls. Okay. And at the death, you bowl some Yorkers.
So in other words, you're a freak.
It's pretty simple. Like I think bowling's a pretty simple thing to do, particularly in 2020 cricket. It's a simple mindset. It's not a simple thing to do. Okay. Executing's a different story because you got someone trying to hit you out of the park at the other end, and you got the bright lights, and you've got scoreboard pressure, and all those kind of things that come into it. Mm-hmm. And then you're obviously trying to execute your own skills as well.
Yeah,
it's tough. But the way you go about it, I think, is simple. Like from that perspective.
Yeah.
Batting, it would have only been the last 6-7 years of my career I actually worked out that I was better at that finishing type role.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit before that, probably last 10 years. Particularly over playing in England, that's where I nailed it down the most, particularly when I was at Notts. Had a great time at Notts. I had 8 seasons there, won a few comps, and we did really well. And working with Peter Moores there, we worked out that my best position was coming in around the 10th over. Regardless of where I was in the order, I'd come in around the 10th over. So 60 balls left. I'm going to face approximately 30 of them. I'll give myself 10 or so to get in, and then I've got 20 to fill my boots. So that's
pretty
the way
simple
that we
role when you think about that.
Yeah. So that's how we tried to structure it, and that's how we structured my training and built a lot of my training around trying to play like that, and had some success, had a fair bit of success, and then brought that same sort of process back to the BBL and every other tournament that I ended up playing in. And while it wasn't as cut and dried in the other teams that I played in terms of coming in around that 10th over, it was always a similar kind of role. And the process for me stayed pretty much the same as well, of trying to work on roughly a quarter to a third of your balls to get yourself in, and then cash in at the back end.
Yeah, nice. I think so. From a coaching point of view, because you're doing a bit of coaching now, do you find that finding each person's ideal role is in that shorter form of cricket especially, is that something that you're trying to find and trying to hone in on that skill? And then, I guess for you, it's like, because you won, essentially, you won pretty much everywhere. You've got, if you had a bit of a lean trot, you're probably thinking, falling back on, I know that this works. I know that this role for me and this process and this mindset to get myself into, that works. I've got years of formulas of this working.
Yeah.
Are you trying to find that with each person, or what?
Yeah, and trying to the key with any coach, I guess, is particularly ones that have played before, is trying to get players to learn things faster than you did, and get them to learn things
and trust it.
Not take 300 games to work it out. Like try and do it in 20 games, or 30 games, or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's I guess one of the biggest challenges of.
How do you do that?
Coaching.
Because there's scar tissue that needs to be developed to build that up, right?
And you need to make the mistakes to then be able to learn from them
and then trust it.
Yeah. Buff was great like that as a coach. You'd after a game, he'd go and get 2 beers out of the fridge and come and sit down next to you, and he'd go, like, "What'd you do that for?" You're like, "Oh, well, I thought about this and thought about that, and I thought this would have been a good idea, so I did that." And he'd say, "Well, it didn't work. So, what are you going to do next time?" And he'd go, "All right, well, I might try this, might try that." And he'd say, "Right, don't do it again. Cheers." So he was really good at explaining it, keeping it simple, would never nail you for doing the wrong thing as long as you didn't do it again.
Okay.
So, I try and take similar. That's one of the things I try and take into my coaching is, if blokes make mistakes, that's absolutely fine. But if you're making mistake after mistake after mistake of doing the same thing over and over again and still not learning from it, that's when I guess you've got an issue.
Yeah, true. Got ya. So what about like adapting to playing in front of big crowds? Because realistically, grade cricket and state cricket, not many people go to. There probably was a little bit going to the 2020 stuff maybe at the start, but there's not that many going to one days, and there's bugger all going to Shield games, and still is.
Yep.
What about then all of a sudden going to the IPL and going, okay, I'm now playing in front of a packed stadium and trying to adapt to that? Much difference?
It's pretty funny. It's pretty crazy where your head goes when you're in that environment. You kind of zone out, and you don't realise that they're, a lot of the time you don't realise that they're there. Probably not intentionally, probably more just like, I think if you think about it, then you're probably like you just go down the spiral and you're caught up in the bright lights. Probably more just being in the zone and knowing, right, this is what I got to do. This is what the scoreboard says. This is what my teammates need. And you just get into that zone in your head where.
Do you think that
sort of
mindset of like you were talking about earlier, always wanting to be in the game and always wanting to do the best at everything? So you're in the field wanting the ball to come to you. You're wanting to put the captain, or if you were captain, or if you're someone else's captain, you want them to put you in the spot where the ball's going to go and where this guy hits the corners, you want to be there, or hits through covers, you want to be there. Do you think that mindset helped you with that?
Maybe. Yeah, okay. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't anything that I ever really had to practice or train. Don't get me wrong. Like, when you're playing in front of a massive crowd, I played a T20 out at a core stadium when the pitch used to go the other way, and it still had the big sides up after.
Yeah. Who are you playing for here?
Playing for Australia against India.
Yeah.
Maybe it had the sides. I think it still had the sides up then. But yeah, there were like 80,000 there. It was absolutely packed. Dhoni, Sehwag, like they were all playing. It was awesome. It was amazing. And there would have been, of the 80,000, there would have been 65,000 were Indians. So it was like they were just screaming the whole time, and you couldn't hear yourself think.
Chaos.
That was pretty cool. That probably would have been the biggest crowd I've played in front of, I think. But one of those things where like we wouldn't be able to talk like this. You cannot hear yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't hear the bloke next to you. So you kind of don't.
You got pup going.
Yeah, bloke's whistling, and you sort of like, where'd that come from? Was it the bloke in the crowd, or was it, the skipper? So you got to be on. You have to be on. You got to be watching the captain, watching the keeper, watching the bowler, knowing where.
As a captain, when you were captain, did you find many blokes were kind of like, because 2020 cricket, you need to be eyes on the captain every ball, right? Because anything it changes every ball. Yep. You're up, back, you're across, all over the place, and different batters, you're all over the place. Did you find there's many guys that are floating? Like the guys that are just...
Yeah, I played with a few floaters.
Yeah.
I played with a few floaters. Alex Hales is a great floater. Always hard to get his attention. So one of the things I ended up doing with him was I'd make sure I went up to him and ask his opinion on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, okay, so he's thinking about the game.
And then it kept him so much more engaged.
Yeah.
So he was great like that, because if he was not engaged, he'd be off with the fairies.
Yeah.
Wow. But in a great way, because that I think that made him a great batsman as well, because he'd go out and he wasn't thinking too much about the game. He'd just go out and just absolutely smack it.
Yeah, he's a gun.
So yeah, he's off the top of my head, he was probably the one that I kind of had to
shout out,
manage the most to.
He'll be watching. He's a massive fan of the podcast, obviously. Mate, with what do you think? Like, obviously you grew to have a million connections in the world, I suppose. Like, you played at over 20 franchises we spoke about. What do you think got you those opportunities ultimately? And what do you think the biggest lesson of just changing so much and having, I know you sort of said you kept a similar role, but you're obviously changing coaches, you're changing all this sort of thing, living in different areas, for example. Like, what do you think the biggest lessons you learned in that, and what helped you with your cricket?
I guess it was we touched on it earlier, that trust in my training process.
Yeah.
And the way I was going about my games. That's what got me the opportunities in the first place, because I was contributing to the teams I was playing in. I was contributing to them winning. So
Yeah.
Didn't always have the best stats at the end of a season, but
Won.
we were helping. I was helping win games, helping
Yeah.
us win games. So that's probably how I got those opportunities, and probably just trying to, apart from doing that sort of on-field role, I always tried to get involved with the team
room guy,
somehow, and try and make sure you're always a good influence in the team, and whether it's helping up the young blokes or organising social functions or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I suppose overarchingly, it probably is a bit of a rap to you in terms of, because if you get known as a bit of a F-wit, you're probably not going to get those opportunities.
Yeah.
It's a large world, but it's a small world. If you're known as a dickhead, you're not going to get an opportunity at another club.
Yeah, correct. And those kind of reputations travel pretty quickly too. So you always one of the things that Dad always drummed into me was about being a team man and helping the bloke next to you, and whatever your teammate kind of needs, getting in and getting your hands dirty and trying to help them out. So that's a way that I always tried to play my cricket, I guess.
Yeah. So obviously there's guys, and some guys I'm pretty close with, I've known for a long time, like Chris Green, Daniel Sams and stuff like that. So there's obviously kids coming through the ranks now, like they're in their 30s, but there's kids coming through the ranks that are probably looking at going, okay, I'm going to play a lot of franchise cricket. And I'm guessing you're working with a few of them across the board as well. What overarching advice are you giving in terms of are you giving that sort of advice, be that locker room guy, or is it?
Well, no, not really, because it's personality dependent too. Some people don't like doing that kind of thing, particularly. Of course, you can help out the guy next to you, but you might not want to be the one that's organising social functions or whatever it might be. So, but in terms of helping your teammates, and trying to develop cultures where that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
In terms of the teams I played with, Notts and the Sixers were the best at that.
Okay.
Like looking after each other and just brilliant at it. Everyone was always looking after each other.
Love it.
So in terms of working with young blokes that are trying to make their way in franchise cricket, probably just being good at your role, trying to be a good team man, trying to help out where you can. From a cricket perspective, though, I'm jumping around in circles here. From a cricket perspective, though, my 4-day cricket was probably the most important grounding for me for my 2020 cricket.
Okay.
In terms of trying to build a decent technique and having those skills to fall back on. So, for example, going out there to bat and talking about those first 10 balls or whatever where I'm getting myself in, if I didn't have a decent 4-day background, then, I'm not getting through those first couple of good balls.
For sure.
Particularly when you're up against a decent spinner or someone bowling 145 k's an hour, you've got to be pretty on. You've got to know what you're doing. So I'm really big on that. Same from a bowling perspective, the ability to just run in and smash a length over and over and over again, like you have to in red ball cricket. I think that's really important in 2020 cricket as well.
Absolutely. To
get yourself that kind of base, grounding and base to work from, and then you can work on your slower balls and your Yorkers and your bounces and stuff. So
I love it.
So yeah, I'm big on guys doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even our batters, when we're working with our batters, I love doing the slogging work at the Thunder. I love working with the guys practicing their slogging, but also love working on it's like the old Warren Smith stuff that he drummed into me about working on your basics. And
do you
making
still
sure
jump in and whack a few sixes?
No, I didn't last year. Year before I did when I ended up playing a couple of games, but no, I'd had enough now.
Yeah, okay. We just touched, obviously you just talked about the red ball stuff you were playing. The only probably thing you didn't achieve, unfortunately, is that baggy green. I know that you were pretty close a couple of times, and if the rules were as they are now in terms of concussion rule, by my understanding, you probably would have played. Watto got hit in the head at training or something.
No, there
Or am I
was
off here?
no, that's a little bit off, but it was Ed Cowan got hit in close.
Okay.
I think I have to double check this with Ed because it was Boxing Day test against India 2011-12. I was 12th man. So I went out, sang the anthem, was awesome. The whole experience was awesome.
So good. How many times did you do 12, man?
Twice.
Okay.
Once down in Hobart against New Zealand, and then literally the next test was Boxing Day against India. And Ed, I think Ed got hit in the head. And I ended up fielding the whole day and watched.
That's pretty cool.
Which was awesome because I ended up being close a couple of times. And I watched Sehwag get a few, and then Tendulkar and Dravid both got, I reckon they got 80 odd. Laxman might have got a couple as well, which was just awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Just being out there and watching them go about their work. Boxing Day test. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice.
It was pretty cool. And then I had to leave. I left after maybe day 3 to go and play a Big Bash game in Perth, I think it was.
Yeah,
when I was playing for the Brisbane Heat.
So you obviously look back at those days as pretty fondly. Is that like something that you like? It's just a little bit of like, damn, I wish that happened.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. I think it's, you can look back and say I had lots of success in different areas, but I won lots of tournaments, but lost 6 finals. Wish I'd have won all those 6 finals. Wish I'd have done something different in those 6 finals.
Yeah.
Got close to playing a couple of test matches. Wish I had have played better after that to make sure that I got picked on the next test tour.
Yeah. Just roll with the punches.
Yeah, just the way it goes, I guess. And,
Yeah.
no, I reckon it worked out all right.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. What country was your favourite ever playing?
I'd have to say England. I played, had 8 years at Notts, one at Gloucester, one at Middlesex, one at Hampshire.
You really played everywhere, right?
Yeah. had a year of club cricket in Bromley in the Kent League and a year of club cricket up in the Lancashire League at Haslington. So what's that? That's a few seasons.
Yeah,
that's a few summers in England.
15,
so, I love going over there. Made some really good friends, and I still like going back there. So it's just a great time of year. And
absolutely,
I
did an English summer. It was a cracker. I suppose with that though, probably a little bit of a testament to the type of shape you kept yourself in though, because to be able to play 12 months a year for 25 years nearly, probably pretty close to that. That's pretty and you're doing all 3 aspects, like you're bowling as well. Like
body was touch wood. Body was pretty good. Back played up a little bit, but never really missed much. Ankles got a bit sore from bowling, but never had any really serious injuries that kept me out.
Yeah. Do you think, is that like, talk me through like your preparation then? You must have been pretty good at prehab and different things. Or is that something just later in your career?
No, I was a bit old school.
Yeah, right.
I was a bit old school in that I didn't, I used to run around the gym and avoid the strength and conditioning coach. I don't do the bare minimum, did the absolute bare minimum in the gym. I hated running, but I would bowl.
Okay.
I would bowl and bowl and bowl and bowl and bowl. And played in that period when workload started coming in and, you're getting told you're only allowed to bowl 6 overs today. And I'm like, well, I don't want to bowl 6 overs. I want to bowl 10 overs because I want to make sure the ball's coming out properly. And it worked. It worked for me. Like I did a little bit more gym as I got a little bit older. But just because I could feel that I needed to keep my strength up, maintain my strength. But mainly for me, it was cricket. It was cricket skills and bowling in particular. Fielding drills would be disguised running, so you're getting running back and forward, chasing catches, and diving around, and that's the way I tried to keep myself in shape.
Yeah, nice. I think there's definitely lessons from that though. Like there's lessons in terms of you obviously were good at those skills, so you enjoyed doing it, and that's the type of fitness you enjoyed doing. So like, you know, there might be some cricketers who are better at the strength stuff, so they prefer to do that sort of stuff, and sort of, I guess, where you sort of feel like you're feeling yourself a little bit and you can kind of impress. Like, yeah, I think there's definitely lessons from that. Like you sort of feel like diving around and catching is how you best kept fit, so it was a way to sort of do it.
Yeah. Adrian Mott, he was our S&C at Victoria when I was at Victoria, and we had one thing with that squad. We had such a really experienced squad that a lot of us were set in our ways and knew exactly how we wanted to approach our game and prepare for games. Cameron White, Rob Quiney, Dave Hussey, Chris Rogers, Peter Siddle, James Pattinson, Scotty Boland. It was a pretty experienced team.
Yeah.
And a really good team, and just blokes that knew exactly what they were doing. So he was great at tailoring the program or your own personal program to whatever you needed.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. There's a lot of, and obviously we spoke about how many teams you sort of played in. Was there ever a time where you were sort of struggling as a team and you kind of just went, you know, some examples might be, let's go to the pub and let's just, you know, hash it out and see what like figure out what we're doing wrong, or is there something along those sort of lines you kind of got an example of?
Yeah, a couple of them. When I was at Victoria, we went to Perth and got bowled out and flogged by Jason Berendorf. I think he took 15 wickets for the game or something like that. Okay. Bowled out in a day and a half.
Yeah, right. And that wouldn't have been that long ago then.
No. That was the last year. That was the last year we won it that I was there. And then came home and didn't lose another game after that.
Yeah, right.
And we got bowled out by lunchtime day 2, went straight to the pub.
Some honest conversations, or you just enjoying yourselves?
Just enjoyed ourselves and got together and spent some time together and just thought, oh, whatever.
Yeah. Is that an old school bonding mindset, or is it something that you still think happens or should happen?
It should happen.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean you've got to go and have 1,000 beers.
Yeah,
but spend time together. I'm massive on teams spending time together. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're playing golf or you go on the movies or you go on the beach or you go on the pub, you're going out for dinner. I don't care what it is. Just spend time together, because that's when you get in the heat of the battle and you get in those tough moments, like
each other's back.
You want to help the bloke that's next to you.
Yeah.
And I know cricket's a really individual sport in terms that you're the only one that's bowling and you're the only one that's facing the ball and you're the only one that's catching or throwing the ball in or whatever. But yeah, I've got no doubt that overarching feeling of wanting to help your mate out plays a part.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think the biggest misconception of like the franchise cricket is? That people are chasing the money?
Yeah, probably that, you know, I got called a mercenary a bit. It's like, well, I'm not really a mercenary. There's one tournament on at the moment, so I'm just going to play in that tournament. And then there's another tournament on just after it, so I'll go and play in that tournament.
Yeah,
like,
beats sitting at home.
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I go and do it and travel around the world and yeah, play a game that I love playing and go to a new country and play with some new guys, and yeah, it was just fun. I just loved it. It was just fun.
So good.
So yeah, probably that mercenary ones. I think that'd be the biggest misconception, particularly for the 2020 game nowadays.
Yeah. Do you have any weird hotels or any stories around something like a bit of a travel disaster?
No real weird hotels.
Do you have any like horror stories where like you got caught somewhere or something?
Oh, there was a pretty scary one in India. It was really scary actually. We were in Guwahati, which is it's way up and over near Bangladesh, and we had a 2020 series up there when I was playing for Australia. Maybe 2016, something like that. I can't remember exactly when. I was around 2016, 2017 maybe. And someone threw a brick through the bus window.
Fuck.
As we were driving from the ground back to the hotel. and it was like, you can imagine what the noise was like.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like a bomb going off. It was like an explosion. Absolutely shat ourselves. We all absolutely shat ourselves, and we're ducking down. And glass was going everywhere. And
Jesus.
so that was a bit scary. Very much a sort of horror story. Ended up, we were all fine. No, nothing wrong with any of us. And
Yeah.
thankfully, there was no one sitting at the window, at the seat where it came through the window.
Like, that's very lucky, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Had a few experiences in India where you go over and you play while there's an election going on, and you've got to get in a dummy bus. So when you have your IPL bus and it's got all your photos on the side of it and whatever, so that bus will go and it'll be empty and it'll go off one way, and then you'll get in the plain bus and go a completely separate way.
What?
Yeah, happens all the time. Happens all the time.
Fuck,
And
so
it still
all
happens.
so the fans like chase that bus.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you go, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And so there's because there's always a threat. There's always some kind of extremist type threat around an election over there, because they're obviously quite passionate about their politics. So so if you're ever playing and there's an election on, that tends to happen.
Yeah, wow.
Had a crazy experience, scary at the time, but over the top in hindsight. Went to the PSL, Pakistan League, and it was in Dubai.
Yeah.
And the finals, the very last round and the finals were going to be played in Pakistan. And at this stage, no one was allowed to come and go from Pakistan. There was no international cricket being played there. So we flew in, and something had happened. Someone had just bombed someone in the north of Pakistan, so they'd shut the airspace. And we were pretty much on the first flight as it reopened. We're on an Emirates flight as it reopened. And I was playing for the Multan Sultans in about 2018.
Did anyone just say no?
I think there were a couple of guys that said no, or they asked for, like, if we're going to go, I want some more money.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah, fucking oath.
So anyway, we get on this Emirates plane and we land, and the military gets on and sort of usher us over to the front right of the plane while the rest of the plane gets off. So the whole plane gets off. Then we get out of the plane, and instead of going up the aero bridge into the terminal, we go down the stairs to the left into a bus. And this bus has got the thickest windows you've ever seen. It's like a bulletproof bus. It was ridiculous, this bus. And there are black Toyota Hiluxes with two blokes on the back with machine guns of every Hilux. We're into the bus and we're off to the hotel, right? So we end up as we're going out of the airport, we're going back up the sort of tarmac along the side of the runway. We stop in this little hut. The manager gets all of our passports, takes them into this little hut, they stamp them, back on the bus, and off we go. So we go off to the hotel, and the drive would have been about a half an hour. All the roads were closed, and there were military alongside the road for the whole 20-minute, half an hour trip, the whole way along. And you can see snipers on the roofs of all the buildings. It was like, I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here?
This is off its head.
It was off its head. And there were there's helicopters over the top. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Get to the hotel, check in, have some dinner. Played the next day at about 1 or 2, something like that. So this flight was at about 2:00 in the morning, and we landed at about 6. So we got up and had breakfast.
Yeah.
And then got up, played the game, and then we're on the plane again straight after the game back to Dubai.
Fuck hell.
So literally flew in, played one game. We're there for about 6 hours. Played the game, got straight back out.
Is this like?
But we didn't make the finals, whereas the other teams had to stay and play the finals. In hindsight, it was a show that you're safe. It was like them trying to show us that we were safe.
It made you It's rattling though.
but it was rattling us.
How do you,
It was doing the complete opposite.
What's the chat like on the one on the plane over? But then when you're going through on the bus and everything,
on the bus, we're just going like,
quiet?
what is this? What are we doing?
So you're not like normally on a bus for context, you'd be sitting there playing cards or
or
just a bit of like
on your
banter
phone,
or
whatever
whatever.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Like we were on our phones because we were filming everything that was
okay.
going on. Just like, what is this? This is ridiculous. Chris Green was in that team. He was on the he was on the bus with me. Be interesting to see what he remembered.
I think we're going to do an episode, Greeny and I. We spoke about it already. So
yeah, it was a crazy experience, a really crazy experience. But yeah, looking back, was absolutely fine. And I've been to Pakistan a couple of times since. And love it.
Yeah,
Hospitality, fantastic. Food, fantastic. People, lovely. But yeah, I think that show of
that's crazy.
That show of security was to make us feel safe when it actually did the opposite.
Where do you see like you obviously grew up and you came into cricket when it was starting to be a little bit professional. By the end of your career, now it's like, you know, utmost professionalism and different things in a lot of different ways. How do you sort of see the game progressing from here?
I think Test cricket's still going to have its place.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to be the pinnacle. I don't know if every team's going to play it.
Yeah.
Or every country's going to play it, but I think it's still going to be the pinnacle, particularly for Australia, India, South Africa, England, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Maybe Sri Lanka. Don't know about the West Indies.
No, I think they'll struggle.
But one thing that 2020's been great at is growing the game.
Yeah, giving more people opportunity to play at the highest
More
level.
people opportunity to play it. I've got a 4-year-old daughter. She loves watching it.
Awesome.
She sees the girls playing the Big Bash, and
how good's that?
which is really cool, I think. So that's certainly had a big influence on the women's game's gone bananas since I started. Everyone knows who the women's Australian team are, whereas when I started, hardly anyone knew who they were.
Agree.
The WBBL's been great for that. So the game's in a really good place, I think, and the game's going in a really good place.
Yeah.
I don't know how much life one-day cricket's got left.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Particularly, I think the World Cup's great, but
Outside
around that,
couldn't tell you last time I watched one. Really.
yeah, I don't think anyone sits down and watches a 10-hour one-dayer anymore.
Yeah. Which is sad because I still remember like growing up and
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. And I loved playing it as well because you had time you could make a mistake or the game could ebb and flow a bit, whereas 2020, you make one mistake, game over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one day was feel great like that in terms of the ebb and the flow and the way that the game could change. But yeah, I'm not convinced it's going to last that much longer.
Yeah, fair enough. Is there who's your favourite ever teammate?
Oh, favourite.
Or you can have a podium.
Teammate.
You know, top 3 is a bit hard.
Favourite ever teammate.
And as we've discussed, he's probably got 20,000 of them.
Well, I've got a few. Yeah, I've got a few. Cameron White's got to be in there
Yeah.
because we won a 19s World Cup together, 3 Sheffield Shields together, and a Big Bash together. I don't think there's anyone else that I've won that much with. So he'd have to be up there.
Oh, there would have been because they had knots and stuff when you were
Yeah. So one a few
the same teammates.
Yeah. I know I took the piss out of him earlier. Alex Hales is always great fun to play with. I love playing with him. We still
that
play a
'cause
lot
of
of
golf?
golf. Yeah, we play a lot of golf together still whenever we're in the same country. He's always good fun.
He's always playing at the coast when he's here, and I'm a member
Yep.
at the coast, so I see him out there a fair bit.
Yep. Moses is a great mate. Loved playing with him. We played a lot of younger Colts type stuff together, and then obviously a little bit for New South Wales, and then to come back and play with him at the Sixers and finish off the Sixers, that was really cool. Really enjoyed that.
I've got a cool Moses story. We played him. We came first and at Bankstown, and we or we might have come second, but we barely lost a game all year. Our team was like a bunch of young guys sort of coming through, and then like people like Jared and Aaron Bird, and it was a semi-final against St George, and Moses came back and played the semi. And obviously with grade cricket, if you finish higher on the ladder, you can pretty much bat for 2 days and you're going to win. So we batted for like a day until like maybe just after lunch, and then I think they might have bowled us out, or we might have declared or whatever. And they needed to chase like 400 in 2 sessions. And I remember Moses walked out to bat, and he sort of like walked out, and he was using like this old stick, and actually it might have been just before lunch. It was just before lunch. So he's come out to bat at 3, and he was using like this old stick like that. I was like, why the fuck is Moses Enriquez using a stick that looks like it's been through like had that much tape on it? It wasn't even funny. Hit about 3 or 4 balls, went back in, came back out with a new stick, and he hit 80 off about 40 rocks. And I was like, this is a man playing against kids. Like he was hitting Nathan McAndrew and I was just standing there like a gully or point or something, just going like, Jesus Christ, he's hitting the ball so hard. Like in a way, probably for the first time in my life, going, please don't hit it at me because I don't want to drop him right now. Like, I was absolutely shitting myself. But that was and then after the game, like came in to the dressing rooms, and I hadn't had much to do with him, but like remembered my name, whether it was on the scoreboard or he was the New South Wales captain at the time too. Said, "Hey Mitch, how are you? Like, well, congratulations on like the win, whatever." And I was sitting there going like, "Oh, you're him." Like that was a really cool Moses Enrique story, and that's something that like he wouldn't even remember that, and yet I'm telling that story on a podcast now. So like it's pretty. That's what I was kind of getting at. What you were saying earlier is if you have that perception of being a dickhead, you're not going to get those opportunities to go play. And have that reputation follows you, I suppose.
Yeah. The guys, interesting. Those guys, they're probably, well, from a professional cricket point of view, probably the ones got to play with obviously some great players in the IPL and for Australia, and legends of the game, absolute legends of the game. But my closest mates still to this day are my mates from Uni New South Wales. Like all my best mates are from Uni New South Wales.
How good's that?
Which is really cool. And we had a 20-year premiership reunion last year. We won the one-day comp, 405, and had a reunion. And blokes came from. We had a guy come from England, a guy from Sweden.
How good's that?
A couple live in Brisbane now, just from all over the place. So yeah, they're still my best mates for sure. Which is we got a really cool connection.
That's the best. Who's your like standing at the top of your mark and you're bowling to someone? Was there a bit of a pinch me moment, like someone you bowled to in a game or whatever? You were kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, I opened the bowling in an IPL game for Bangalore at Sachin and Punter. We're both opening the batting for Mumbai.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I know I said earlier that most of the time I felt like I could hit the spot. Hit the spot and felt that I could. I was good enough to be at a certain level, but that day I didn't really feel like that. that was probably a bit much for me, that one. And someone asked me about it not that long ago, and I didn't think I did that well, but looking back, I actually bowled all right. I didn't get them out. Didn't get either of them out.
Yeah,
but They didn't flog me all over the place, so that was good.
Yeah, nice. What about batting? Were you facing someone going, fuck, that's Shoaib Akhtar or something?
Never faced Shoaib, thankfully. Faced Warnie a couple of times. Once in an IPL game. Couple of Big Bash games, maybe only one Big Bash game. That was really cool. Sean Tate was the worst. He's a really good mate. He's one of my best mates.
Yeah.
But he was the worst. Faced him a lot in the nets when I was at South Australia. I played a couple of games against him. Club cricket. Played one club cricket game where he bounced me and Nick got me out.
Is it just because he doesn't know where it's going?
Oh, no, he knows where they're going.
Yeah.
Like, he knows where they're going. But it's just so fast. So fast. Faced Binger a bit. Faced Mitch Johnson a bit. But Tatey...
Yeah, right.
I think it was as quick as Tatey, but I think probably just because of the slingy nature of his action, it made him a little bit more awkward.
Yeah.
Binger was beautiful and could swing it and was really up and down, so he quite as scary.
Okay.
Whereas Sean sort of let the ball go
Mitch
like
Johnson
that.
had a bit of both though.
Oh, Mitch had a bit like that, but Mitch was 150.
Okay.
Sean's 160.
Yeah, true.
Like Mitch is scary enough.
Yeah,
He he was hard work. I didn't enjoy facing him, but Sean was.
Yeah, that's quick.
Sean's
Your beans
another
are
10
your
k's an hour
beans are
quicker.
going.
Yeah, your beans are going. Your beans are properly going. He was tough to face.
Is there? Tell me, just on beans going. Is there something that you did intentionally to get yourself in the contest?
Not really. I used to try and run out to bat.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I'd try and run out to bat, make sure that I did some butt kicks and some
Just get a sweat
some
on
side to sides and try to get myself up a bit.
Okay.
We did a really cool thing when I was at South Australia. I think it was Mark Sorrell came up with it as coach. Before, like, you wore full-on heart rate monitors, we just had these little watches on, and we had to do this test where we recorded our execution, how good our execution was when we were facing the bowling machine. It was like, so middle of the bat, and someone was there watching it, and they could see how well you hit it, and then you had to tell them what your heart rate was after every ball.
Okay.
And interestingly, my execution went like that when my heart rate got up to about 120.
Okay.
120, 130. So I had to be up. I had to be right up. And my execution, I hardly missed the middle of the bat when I got up there. Whereas then some of my teammates at that time, like there was Michael Klinger or Dan Harris, those two were, their heart rate had to be back down around 90.
Okay.
90, 95. That was when their execution was best, though, because they were obviously much calmer personalities than me. And they performed so much better when they were down. So that was one thing that I learnt early on. That was my first year at South Australia, I reckon. So I was 24 or so. And that was when I worked out, okay, yep, I've got to be up. I've got to try and make sure that I'm up.
I wonder, do you think that's why you had like that white ball success and they were probably more red ball players?
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. My red ball that's probably, yeah, good question. I think red ball, I was still, mentally, I think my red ball stuff was still pretty good. Like, if I had to lock in, then I was pretty good at locking in. I think technically I just got found out a bit in red ball. Used to fall over myself a bit, used to get hit in the front pad a bit.
Yeah.
Whereas white ball cricket, your front leg's the other way. You don't have to worry about that.
You don't need to have a cow. I love it.
Yeah, so that I think that was probably as much technical, the fact that I didn't go as well at red ball cricket as what my white ball cricket was.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Rather than mindset.
There you go. What's the ambitions now? Obviously, there's your golf career and a bit of coaching. Talk me through golf.
Well, I wouldn't say there's a golf career, but I love it. I just absolutely love it. That's my release, my competitive release these days.
For context, the day I played with him, he had a couple under, so there is a bit of a golf career.
I enjoy it. I love it. And I love just it's that crazy sport where it doesn't matter how good you are, you always want to be a little bit better.
Yeah. Great equaliser.
Yeah. I've got one goal from a golf perspective. I'd really like to qualify my way into a professional tournament at some stage.
Love it.
By winning an
Amateur
open
event,
qualifier, like a New South Wales Open qualifier or something like that, or finish in the top 5 or whatever you have to do to get in there.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'd like to do one day.
Yeah, cool.
I'd never try and go pro because it's far too hard, and they're so much better than what everyone thinks they are.
Yeah.
Got a couple of good mates that are pros that you see how hard it is and you see how good they are. You play with them on a Tuesday or something like that, and they have 5, 6, 7, 10 under, and they can't do it consistently professionally.
100%. Well, I played a game with Dimmy Papadakis, and he's one of my good mates, and like I'd literally known him since I was like 11. We did a podcast and everything. He had a great story, and he's a great man. But I played a game with him Christmas Eve, the first time I'd actually ever played with him. And mate, it was different gravy. Hey, like it was 40-kilometre winds at Magenta Shores, and he had 7 under, and I was just going like, he had 6 foot for birdie every hole, and I was just like, how I can't even get the ball on the golf course. Like, what do you mean? Like, Yeah, it's different. What about coaching?
Yeah, I'd love to keep doing that. Had a crack at the Sydney Thunder head coaching role that came up this year. Probably won't get that. Looks like it. Well, if you read the papers, looks like Freddie Flintoff's going to get that one. So
Yeah, right.
that was in the paper last week. So
Do you know him?
so we'll wait and see. Yeah, I played with Freddie.
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
Yeah.
Like with everyone else in the world cricket, I guess. Played with Freddie 2012 or 13 at the Brisbane Heat when he came out.
Yeah, okay.
Ripping bloke. Obviously really knowledgeable about the game early in his coaching career as well, similar to me, but he's done obviously a little bit more. He's worked the England Lions and Northern Superchargers and so yeah, if that opportunity arises, yeah, I'd be keen to work with him. Yeah, I just enjoy it. One thing about late in my career, as you become an older player and you find that the younger players ask you for advice or ask how you went about certain situations. And yeah, I guess I started to get, late in my career, started to get real enjoyment out of working with them and trying to help them get better. So, which became a kind of easy progression into coaching.
Yeah, love it. Mate, I could honestly go on all day here, but I know we've been here a while. I'm super grateful for this. I absolutely love picking your brain. I've got 3 quick questions, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
16-year-old DC walks through the door. What are you telling him?
Be patient.
Okay, love it.
And you don't have to have everything right now. You don't have to be brilliant at everything right now. Learn your trade and do the work, and it'll work out.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your go-to cheat meal?
Go-to cheat meal. How long we got? I've got a couple. No, I'd have to say Macca's.
Yeah. What's your order?
Large Big Mac meal, some nuggets, maybe a cheeseburger to finish.
How good. This is a cool question too because of the level of golf you are. Dead or alive, you dream golf foursome. You can't pick me. I'm carrying the bags.
Okay. Tiger.
Obvious reasons.
Yep, just because he's Tiger. And I'd just like to watch that. Who else am I going to go with? I got asked this not that long ago.
Yeah, I know who you got asked by as well.
Yeah,
He stole
Mick
my
asked me.
question. He
Yeah.
stole my question.
Did he? Yeah. Tubby asked me, and afterwards I was like, I felt a bit bad that I didn't pick him. But I'm not going to pick him. I'm not going to pick him again. I'm going to leave him out. I will pick one of my really good mates, though, who's not much of a golfer, Mitch O'Connor, who I played a lot of my cricket with at Uni New South Wales.
he
He's one
from
of my best
Dubbo?
mates. Yep, he's a Dubbo boy.
He's good mates with my uncle.
There you go. Now lives in Sweden.
Does he? Okay.
I'm going to go him. I'll go Tiger.
Be funny if they hate each other. I've just heard his name, but I'm pretty sure they're good mates. Hey, he's got a brother, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it is.
Yep. And I'm going to go Keith Miller.
Love it.
It's a bit of a random one.
Yeah. Did you ever have much?
No.
No, you never met
Never met him.
No.
Never met him. But heard some great stories about him, both on and off the field. It sounds like he was a very entertaining man.
Mate, love it. Mate, as I said, I'm super grateful for this. I've absolutely loved it. Dan Christian, everybody. Thank you, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me.